Fala galera, bem-vindos a mais um Sonoridades. O episódio de hoje é um TBT do Sabaton, onde a gente entrevistou os caras quando vieram no Brasil. A gente conta tudo, o vocalista conta tudo pra gente. É mais um vídeo de TBT pra vocês, enquanto a gente tá preparando material novo, se liga, confira. Abraço.
This question is a tricky question. You know, it's a big question.
Okay.
We'll have all the time, so. Joakim, thanks very much for this interview.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Brazil again.
Welcome to Brazil. Third time here in Brazil.
I think so, yes.
First time playing in a festival.
Yeah.
So how's it gonna be?
Hopefully better weather than right now. But we always had a good show here. I like the people, I like the food, and the crowds have always been great. Only problem is the language barrier sometimes, but other than that.
This is going to be the greatest show you ever had here in Brazil. What do you think about it?
I hope so, and it's saying a lot because we had a lot of good shows here in Brazil. So
It's a festival,
yeah.
right?
So it's for sure going to be larger than the other shows we had here in Brazil before. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And what can you spoil about your set list, about the concert?
We had big troubles doing the set list because we only have 60 minutes. So we shortened it down, but of course we added the song about the smoking snakes, about the Brazilians.
Yeah.
So it made sense. I mean, we couldn't go here and not to play that song.
Smoking snakes.
So, which is going to be fun because we don't get to play that very often. With us, you know, and depending on which country we're in, sometimes we play in Poland, then we have songs about Polish history, and sometimes we're in Sweden, and we have songs about Swedish history. And since we play, let's say, Sweden very often, we get to play those songs a lot. But we're not here very often, so I'm really happy that we get to play Smoking Snakes.
Oh, that's good. And you also have a new album.
Yeah.
So what can you tell about this album, the production?
It was a bit hard to do, not on the musical side, but the topic itself, the Great War. While as the two previous albums, Heroes and The Last Stand, are a bit more musically and thematically light-hearted. I mean, obviously it's still military history and we're singing about awful things, but still Heroes. A hero is there's something uplifting in there. So is the courage to do a last stand. But the Great War, it's a very depressing time.
I do my duties, pay the price.
Why did you decide to talk about it?
I think we had the idea since 2008. When we did the album Art of War, we covered some songs from World War I there, or some events I should say, sorry. And we just thought there's an whole album there. Ever since then, I think we've had it in the back of our heads. We'll do a song about World War I one day. But when we realized we were in the songwriting phase, we had just started it, and then we realized that we could start the recording on the 11th of November, which is Armistice Day. So we could start the recording exactly 100 years after the war ended. So we thought, yeah, it's a sign, we have to do it now.
And did you like the result of this album?
I do. Usually it takes me, because I'm there for all of the songwriting process, I'm there for the production, I'm there for the mixing and the recordings and everything. So by the time an album is done, sorry for my language, I fucking hate it, you know. Because I know everything that's happened on that has been recorded and re-recorded. And it usually takes me a couple of months after the release to be able to listen to it, you know. But we were done recording in January or February, and it wasn't released until July. And I didn't listen much because once it's done, I put it aside because at that point there's nothing more I can do. But since there was such a long delay, was that when it actually came to, well, being released, I didn't really hate it that much anymore. So it feels good. I'm happy with it.
And this was the first album that you have Thomas playing guitar in the studio with.
Tommy, yeah.
Yeah.
First time for him. Third album for Chris and Tommy. No, Chris and Hannah, sorry. And the first one for Tommy. It was nice because, one of the songs, Ghost in the Trenches, was written with Tommy as well.
And you released Great War, the video, and released Angels Are Calling Now with Apocalyptica.
Yeah.
It's a re-recording for a song. So, do you like the result? Do you like the repercussion of the song?
Yeah, the song, it makes perfect sense because it's about trench warfare in World War I, but it's much older. It's 2006, that song. However, it's one of these things when we have. It goes for any bands, I guess. If you have songs that you really enjoy or are possibly good ones, but they are on albums that are before you became popular or that many people knew about you, we would love to play them live. But then we see 10-20% hardcore fans. They go crazy. They love that. Then the rest are like, I don't know this song. Then they go home and check it, and then they appreciate it. But that means they're not having a nice time during the concert, really. So we figured how to beat that is to do a re-recording. We didn't just want to do any re-recording. And I think really Apocalyptica added some really extra beef to that song.
And do you think maybe recording an album with Apocalyptica and
a whole album might be a bit too much work actually because it's taking our schedule and timing into consideration and Apocalyptica's. But I would love to do more with them, absolutely. But a whole 10-song album, it might be tricky. And that would mean we'd also have to tour together forever when we're playing those songs.
The label bets a lot on you because they say you can in the future replace bands like Iron Maiden and others. And what do you think about it?
Oh, if that's true, I'll be happy. Very happy. I'm happy to hear. If we will, though, that's not up to us to decide. That's up to the fans. Of course, it's up to us in the sense, can we keep on delivering music and good shows? Those are the two things. But those are the only two things that are in our hands. The rest is up to the fans to decide.
Well, if we've checked your spot list on Spotify, you have more than 1.5 million fans listening every month to Sabaton.
Yeah.
So how do you see this? We're in a time when people listen only 15 seconds of a song and go, oh, this is disposable, I don't like this, but you have 1.5 million audience per month. So how do you deal? How do you see?
I think it's possible thanks to metalhead fans being, more loyal and I'm not saying more intelligent at all, but I'm saying they have a longer attention span. It goes certainly for the more radio-friendly music, if you will. I see the tendency that you only listen to the intro, the verse, and then the chorus. As soon as the first chorus is over, you see them go on to the next song. It's always. While it seems like rock fans or metal fans aren't like that still. Of course, it has shrunk. Metal fans used to be the ones who listened to the whole album and not only to one song. And now we're down to a couple of songs. But I get it. There is more things that is competing for our attention.
Blaze Bailey is a big fan of you guys. And what bands that inspired you guys to start to play, to have this band?
Well, I would say Blaze Bailey was in one of those bands who inspired us. Yeah, Iron Maiden for sure, Judas Priest. Let's say, we're all a bit different in Sabaton. Obviously, we don't like 100% everything the same, but some like a bit harder music, some like a bit softer music, but we're still, everybody's roots is in 80s and 70s hard rock and metal, you know? That's what we all have in common. So it's really, yeah, I mean, for anyone in the band, bands like everything from Twisted Sister, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, etc., the classics are the ones we grew up listening to.
That's
Yeah.
And
nice.
can be heard in our music, I would say, as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Into darkness. 303 days below, the sun feels overdone.
Yeah, I really like him. He's always when he's home and we were playing in, let's say, Wolverhampton or anywhere in the Midlands, he's always there saying hi.
Oh, yeah.
And, we assaulted him on stage in Poland once. Me and Pat were there doing interviews, and we went on stage without him knowing, you know, singing along to one song. So, he's a nice guy, but he talks a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Sabaton released a new online board game. So, how this idea came up? I mean, I played, it was nice, it was good. So, how the idea came up?
The thing is, with history and board games, I mean, that's been, I mean, I started out playing video games when I was a kid. I always enjoyed it. I don't have as much time these days, but especially, I mean, everything from Risk to, you know, proper board games to video games and everything in there between. And it makes so much sense to have, you know, sort of the Swedish Empire thing going on, because with those kinds of rules, rule set and everything, it's also a perfect combination, I think, in many cases. For some reason, I'm not that much into fantasy board games, but for it's either historical or futuristic, you know, space is also nice. And also, I have enough stress in my life. It's nice with turn-based sometimes, you know.
Well, we have Sabaton Open Air, so you have the experience of playing and constructing a festival. So when you come here to Brazil and play to a festival created by another band, like Green Theater, how do you see, I mean, can we melt these two in maybe another festival?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I think it's all very, very different. This is the first time they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see, but it's sometimes you can have the best intentions with starting a festival, but there's something we realized after doing it for so many years. We've done it for over 10 years now, and it's not in your hands, everything. You are so dependent on, well, it could be weather. It could be, did anything else happen? Did you have cancellations with some bands? There are so many factors that you cannot totally control. Of course, you can try and eliminate as many risks as possible. So you never really know where things end up. You know, I mean, I know in Europe, for example, there's so many festivals that started out as not pure metal festivals, but then became hard rock festivals. And other festivals started out with more extreme metal, but now are more mainstream metal, if you know what I mean. So sometimes it's not up to the organizer. Sometimes the fans will choose that festival, start going there, and then they have become the fans of the festival. And if they want harder music, softer music, if they want more bands or fewer bands and longer play times, that's in the end going to be decided by them, because they're going to let the organizers know. Because if the organizers don't do what they want, they're not going to buy tickets next year.
Yeah, that's true. True fact. Well, I think
Do you still have time?
Do you still have time? Okay, so we have two questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Two
I have one.
questions. She has one, I have another. So
Yeah.
Okay, mine is a little bit more difficult because we are having like a difficult time here in Brazil. That music talks about bullshit. What do you think about your music being used for school purposes and, of course, teaching story through music?
Trust me, if somebody is learning any history or gets into history, nothing will make us happier. I mean, it's not the main idea for us. I mean, for us, heavy metal and military history, they go perfectly together. They speak the same emotional language. But for us, it makes more sense to sing about real events that are being forgotten instead of making up new stories. However, we don't like to see our music used in propaganda purposes, no matter be they political or religious or whatever, because we want to stay with the facts, you know. And it's important to remember that, sometimes we could sing about one nation's good part of their history or the bad part of their history. It's really important to remember that all countries have good and bad parts in their past, you know, that they shouldn't be proud of or ashamed of. So, it's one of the things why we have this YouTube channel, Sabaton History channel, where we explain the story behind every song. Something we're passionate about.
That's good. So this question, it's a tricky question. You know, it's a big question.
Okay.
We'll have all the time. So what's next for Sabaton?
Oh, more shows and more metal, I hope. We're actually, after this show here on Saturday, we're taking a small Christmas break. Then we do the main European tour for a month, week and a half break, and then we do 1 month in Russia and Belarus. After that, shorter break before the festival summer starts in Europe. So we follow the seasons as well.
No album, no records.
That we released in July this year, actually. Yeah. So I think, you know, my will to write more music just came back, you know, after because I'm doing nothing else than writing, you know, producing and recording for such a long time that, you know, once we're done, for about 6 months, I don't even want to. I mean, I love performing, being on stage, but I don't want to sit in a studio. You know, I've done that for a year or 9 months with the writing. So, of course, maybe we'll do something fun, but we're already starting to plan, you know, what we're going to do next. But it's going to take a year or two before we really are ready to release anything. You know?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Short message to the Brazilian fans.
Which camera? This one or this one?
This one.
This one. That one.
This one.
Thank you very much for all the good memories and the good food. Hope to see you soon.